Well, if it ain't good old Tito from the Investigative Cameras YouTube show on the STL Sports Central YouTube page. Tito's back, better than ever, Jack, for another edition of Tito's Hot Toilet Takes. Yeah, Tito's got a hot take. I'm going to be holding the STL Sports Media accountable. I'm going to be holding the St. Louis Cardinals accountable for their fucking firing and this coverage of Mike Shildt's retirement. Before I get into all that nonsense, I do got to tip my cap, give a shout out to Mr. Sharp and Easy E for holding down the fort ever since I've kind of had to take a sabbatical on the Domesticated Gamblers YouTube show. I've been busier than a little beaver with all the kids' activities and coaching, and I'm going back to school to get my MBA. I buried the lead. Yeah, I'm going back to school. I got to start making some more money, so I'm going back to school to get my MBA so I can be a manager of men. That's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be a manager of men, Mr. Sharp. You'll like that. But, the reason why I got to tip my cap. They're in midseason form. If you have any sports betting needs, definitely watch Domesticated Gamblers. Follow Easy E and Mr. Sharp on the Action Network sports betting side. I don't know their handles off the top of my head, but make sure to follow them. Watch the show. Comment. Leave a review. That would be tremendously appreciated for them. I'll be back before you know it. Just had to take a few weeks off just to get my bearings straight. But here I am today giving a hot take. So you know the return is imminent. But, the reason for my hot take today, folks, everyone knows how big of a fan I was of Mike Shildt when he got hired on as the St. Louis Cardinals baseball manager. After he took over for that Little League manager, Mike Matheny. And I've been a big fan of Mike Shildt for a long, long time. I'm not one of these frauds. I'm not one of these media members that want to talk about how nobody liked Mike Shildt when he was a Cardinal manager, which is a bunch of big nonsense. What a big whoop that is. I'm not one of these guys that sit here and say, oh, yeah, I never liked Mike Shildt. He was a jerk. I'm not one of those guys either. Because all Mike Shildt did as a baseball manager, folks, was win games. And in the end of the day, being a Major League Baseball manager, the way that you are tracked is by your wins and losses. Did you win or did you lose? And this guy did a lot of winning. And don't forget, folks, everyone seems to forget this. He retired as the Padre manager. He didn't get fired. They didn't have enough of him. He came out and he retired. Now, a few days later, a bunch of sources come out and say, yeah, he was an asshole. And maybe he was an asshole. I'm not here to talk about whether or not he was an asshole or if he was a nice guy. If I had to guess, he was an asshole. If you watch the Randy Arozarena video, and he uses a lot of colorful language that Tito likes, but I'm sure some people don't like. You can tell from that video that he was an asshole. Now, if you watched him before that video or after that video, you didn't watch the video, you would think that this guy was kind of a choir boy. He was kind of a nice guy. Gosh, it's me. I'm a lucky guy. I'm a baseball manager. He would get fired up from time to time, hold the Zebras or the umpires accountable, which is great. And he had his players' backs. That's the bottom line. And he won games. And that's when you're tracked. That's how you're tracked as a baseball manager. Did you win games or did you lose games? And guess what, folks? If you lose a lot of games, you're not going to be a good manager. If you win a lot of games, you're going to be thought of as a really good manager. And this guy was a really good manager. If you look at the track record, look at his stats. Look, he holds the record for most consecutive wins by a Cardinal manager in a season. And now that's saying something, folks. And I'll tell you right now, the fact of the matter is when that happened, everyone was throwing hosannas at his feet. Well, now that he's gone, and now that he's retired, and now there's these reports out that he was a jerk, all I hear from the STL sports media is how big of an asshole this guy was. All I hear about is, I was hearing stories about how big of a jerk he was, and I didn't want to say anything. Where were you when Mozilla came out with the fraud of a statement talking about there were philosophical differences? What kind of philosophical I don't even know what that even means. I still don't. You want to know why I don't know what that means? Because the STL media members didn't ask any hard questions after that statement. All they did was take him at his word and didn't ask any follow-ups. And guess what, STL sports media members? When you want to make fun of the fans that want you to hold people accountable and how we call you soft, you are soft. You want to know why you're soft? Because you don't ask legitimate questions. It's not about yelling at people. It's not about holding people accountable to their faces. It's none of that nonsense. It's about understanding what the fan base is thinking, and asking the hard questions. Asking legitimate questions that may make you feel uncomfortable, but the fans will respect you and the fans will get an idea of what's actually going on with the organization. Not throwing these cupcake questions, not asking people off camera, off the radio, do you mind if I ask you something like this? Is that going to hurt your feelings? Can I ask you this? So I'm going to ask you off the record, off camera, to make you feel like you're important. Because guess what? The only people that are important when it comes to baseball is the manager and the players. That's what's important. And about winning championships. And all Mike Matheny did was lose championships. All Mike Shildt has done was win baseball games. That's all he's done. All Oliver Marmol does is treat everyone with kid gloves and wants everyone to be happy and wants everyone to be friends and wants to make everyone happy. Well, the only way you're going to make the fan base happy, Oliver, is by winning baseball games. Okay? And guess what, Chaim Bloom? You've been in the job for a minute now. The only way you're going to make people happy, if you want them to forget about John Mozeliak, is by putting a good product on the field. And that means bringing up the likes of J.J. Weatherholt. It's bringing up the likes of Quinn Matthews. It's about putting the best product on the field and not manipulating players' playing time. But I digress because this is about Mike Shildt and the STL sports media. Talking about how the fans didn't like Mike Shildt. I had not met one person that didn't like Mike Shildt. Not one person. Okay? The fact of the matter is, this guy might have been an asshole, but he won. And in the end of the day, winning is what matters if you're a Major League Baseball manager. Okay? And remember, the Padres didn't fire him. The Padres let him retire. That's what happened. They let him retire because he was done. He was burnt out. It wasn't because he was a jerk. It wasn't because they wanted him out. No, he retired. The Cardinals were the one that fired him. And why did they fire him? Because he treated people meanly. He was an asshole. But what have we gotten ever since then? What manager have we gotten since? We've gotten a nice guy. Well, guess what? In baseball, nice guys finish last. And so I'm sorry if you have staff members or if you have a coaching staff that can't take constructive feedback or can't be held accountable from time to time. Because all Mike Shildt wanted to do was win championships. Did he win a championship? No. But did he try his damnedest? Absolutely he did. And so this revisionist history about how everyone knew how big of an asshole Mike Shildt was. I'm not worried about how big of an asshole he was. Because ever since he's been fired, the Cardinals have not worried about winning one bit. Not one time. All they worried about is lining their pockets with money, making sure that fans come in through the gates, and making sure everyone was happy. Well, guess who's not happy now, Cardinals? The fan base is not happy. Why? Because we're not fucking winning. So change your attitude, change the scope of how you manage people, and find somebody that actually wants to win and not want to treat everyone with kid gloves. So there's your hot take. STL Sports Media, we do think that you're soft because you are soft. You dance around the subjects, you don't listen to the fan base, and then when you have the opportunity to ask tough questions, you kowtow and you bury your head in the sand and just take whatever the Cardinal organization wants to give you. What a big woof.